Good morning. Hey, today I would like to talk to you about joy, gratitude, and stewardship. These are great topics to discuss during this season of preparation, which we call Advent. As you may find by the end of the discussion, joy and gratitude become one with stewardship, which is using God's gifts for ministry. I'd like to tell you the story of my journey in stewardship. And it goes way back to when I was 17 years old in high school. I just got a job as a box boy in a Safeway store, my very first job. I got to make $10 a week, and I only had to work 8 hours to get that. And I'm at church, and I hear this man get up and talk from the front of the church about stewardship and about the need the church had for some money. And he was asking people to give. And I thought, well, I'm starting to make $10 a week. I've never made money before, so I pledged to give $1 a week. About 2 weeks later, that man came to me and said, you're one of our largest pledgers, and you're only 17. And he kind of had a twinkle in his eye, and that man happened to be my father. And I never forgot that. So I actually made my $1 pledge per week all the way through my senior year of high school, my first 2 years of college, because I lived at home as I went to community college. And then, as many of us do, I left the church. But I want to tell you, I had that sense of feeling of pride or something. I don't know what it was, but I just felt good about the fact that I was able to give. But it was probably 10, 12 years before I ever went back to church after college. And when I did go back, my wife and I were just starting a family. We had just started working, and I'd made a couple of errors in my finances, and so things were not very good for us. And we were attending church, and we weren't able to give any money to the church. And I felt this tremendous sense of guilt over that. Especially, eventually, in the first year I got elected to the vestry, and I still wasn't able to give any money. And I just felt horrible guilt over this. I gave my time, I gave my talent, and then there was a special weekend we had where some people came and talked to the church about stewardship. And one of the things that I heard, one of the scriptures I heard for the very first time was 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 17. God loves a cheerful giver. Those few words changed my life as a Christian. And all of a sudden I realized that I need to be happy about what I give. And if I'm receiving joy about what I give, then that's okay. That's the right amount. And we weren't able to give much, but we started to give that same $1 a week that I gave when I was in high school. And I felt relief. That guilt went away, and it was replaced with joy. If you fast forward a couple more years, I'm still going to that church, and that's a church up in Southwest Washington State. And I'm invited to go to a 4-day weekend retreat on stewardship on Hood Canal. It was a church camp that was owned by the Diocese of Olympia. And it was beautiful, and it was spiritual. And during that special retreat, I started to feel this strong sense of gratitude for all of the gifts that God had given me. And I wanted to be able to use those gifts more for God's service. And this is what stewardship was about. It's about gratitude for all the gifts that we've been given in our lives, and the desire then to use those gifts for God's service. So then, all of a sudden I realized that stewardship is about joy and gratitude. And if you move on to when we came to Epiphany, we started another stewardship group, and we called it the Committee on Gratitude. And this was no mistake, because our stewardship program at Epiphany is based on gratitude. Thanksgiving for all the gifts we received, thanksgiving for the life that we have together, thanksgiving for just to be a member of this parish family, just filled with this gratitude. And through gratitude, we want to use our gifts to continue to expand this ministry. And those gratitudes are our time and our talent and our treasure. And the joy that I feel and that all of us can feel by giving for this ministry is beyond expression. So I just want to have all of you remember that with stewardship comes a sense of gratitude and a strong sense of joy. Thank you.